Canada's Freedom Convoy having a global impact. A U.S. version called the People's Convoy is now preparing for a trip across America, beginning in California just about a week from today. And the co-founder says there are now convoys coming from every direction. Raymond Arroyo, Fox News contributor. So Raymond, let's just start with Justin Trudeau for just this one simple reason. I'm curious, is he just the biggest phony, or does he actually believe that being a dictator goes along with democracy? And the reason I say that is because those types of decisions are things that could or could not happen in this country, and that would definitely slide us in the wrong direction, away from being the republic that we are.
You know, watching that clip you played earlier, Harris, it reminded me of that Richard III line, smiling, smiling, and still a villain. You know, he has that very smooth approach, but what he's talking about is exactly disenfranchising not only these truckers, but any protest in Canada that he disagrees with and deems a public nuisance. If you read the emergency order, Harris, it says these illegal blockades, his term, disrupts the lives of Canadians, and it's hurting workers who rely on these jobs to feed their families. Well, this is why there's a protest, because the truckers feel these vaccine mandates hurt their lives and hurt their ability to provide for their families. And the other part of this is, if the vaccines actually worked and were not leaky vaccines, Harris, one might be able to make the argument that a guy alone in his cab needs multiple vaccines. But the fact that the vaccines are not yet perfected and the guy's alone in his cab, this would seem to be an argument for the government to back off and let these guys move the freight they need to move.
So that they're, just so we're clear, the truckers actually are really, really smart about this one fact, because 90% of them in the union are already vaccinated.
Correct.
So they know and always knew that the vaccines were not going to be perfect. There's no such thing. We still get measles in this country every year.
Right.
So there's no perfect vaccine. But what they're taking an exception to, as I understand it, is, look, they may have made the choice to get vaccinated, but it was their choice. And by the way, America seems to have gotten the party started on this side of the border. So again, what is the danger of us looking like them in terms of what the Prime Minister did?
Well, one would hope that local governments, state governments, as we saw during the 2 years of the COVID lockdowns, that they will take exception to what's coming from the federal level. In Canada, it's more of a mixed bag, particularly when the Prime Minister drops these federal emergency orders. But, Harris, the thing we need to keep into perspective, and it's a good thing to look at and remember, these protests in Canada, they keep talking about the vaccine mandate being the source of the truckers' rage. Many of these protesters, I've talked to friends there, they are upset also about the 2 years of lockdowns and the damage it has exacted on their children's education. So this is a big protest against government restricting the freedom, and I know that they don't like the word, but the liberty of the people in Canada, and that bleeds across the border to us as well. The thing here, governors protected the United States in many, many cases.
Yeah. And when they don't protect those rights, when at school board meetings parents want to go against whatever it is, whether it's some of the things on your list or critical race theory that they deem they want to fight against, then the DOJ calls the FBI to call those parents out through the terrorism unit of the FBI. I am legitimately concerned, I believe, that we would see something like what Prime Minister of Canada was talking about in this country.
Well, just very quickly, Harris, you should be. Well, because it starts with a false narrative. He's calling these truckers racists. He's equating them with terrorists. We hear that same lingo being invoked here, whether it's a school board meeting or it's a group of people protesting election irregularities as they see it. That doesn't mean they're terrorists or racists. And when you start to classify people that way, it falls into the federal statutes, and it does get invoked. And once the federal government comes after you in a very vociferous way, escaping that grasp is difficult for a common citizen. And that is a danger, always, and a constant danger.
Wow, that is chilling. and memorable the way you put it. I thank you always, Raymond Arroyo in Focus.
Thank you, Harris.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.